Okay, I turned on streaming. Let's see if this is working. Twitch. I see Twitch and I see YouTube.
Perfect.
Doing a
I
chat
like it.
test.
I saw that.
And it went into both.
It did go into both? I'm only seeing it from Twitch.
I see it in YouTube as well.
Oh. I'm not seeing YouTube then. Wait. Okay. No. If you have the tab open that says Restream, like in the actual chat client, you're seeing everything.
Right.
And you'll respond. If you respond, it responds that to both people.
And then
So
I just did a chat test in YouTube, and we should see that as a reply, and it should show YouTube.
Yep, it did. Chat test.
I don't have it showing up yet on mine.
The little... Okay, there it is. Nope. I see it now. 22:39:35. Yep. And 22:39:39. All right.
Weird.
So big news.
I don't see them,
week.
but that's weird. Okay.
Twitch dads.
Interesting.
I've already responded to him. All right, let's get ready to record.
Whenever you're ready.
All right. 3, 2. Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 249.5, recorded on October 10th, 2019. On tonight's episode, we're going to talk about Doom Eternal delays and My Little Ponyta comes to Pokemon Shield. Jesse, cue that beautiful, beautiful music. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Marty here from Nintendo Dads, and you're listening to episode 249.5 of the show, recorded October 10th. Joining me tonight, Mr. Jesse Waldack, straight from Missouri. How's it going, buddy?
Pretty good. Last week we talked about weather, and my house is confused. It's 45 degrees outside right now, but the inside is like between 75 and 80, depending on what room you are. And I don't have the heat on.
It's a terrible time of year.
Right.
When the weather can't make up its mind.
And of course we can't turn on the air because it's too cold outside. So
yeah, speaking of weather, Sunday night I was home by myself. My wife and kids and her sister and their kids had gone away for a few days because of schools being on fall break. And it came a mighty storm, and we lost power from 6:15 p.m. until 3:30 in the morning.
Oof.
Big oof. It was awful. It was terrible. The storms weren't even that bad. I don't understand it, but I know they were working on it, but man, I was all settled down. Like, I had my food, and I was getting ready to watch Hell in a Cell, the WWE pay-per-view. I was all ready. I had my phone queued up because I have to run it through my phone from the WWE network. I had it up on the TV, and then 15 minutes into it, power goes out. Ugh. And it did not come back on until, like, it woke me up when it came back on.
Ouch.
I just went to bed. It was just like,
what else can you do?
About 10 o'clock, I was like, well, this sucks. Guess I'm going to go to bed like an old pioneer. Wait for the sun to get up.
I'd have a problem trying to go to bed without power because I sleep with a CPAP on.
Yeah.
And though
yeah,
last time I tried that, it wasn't as bad with how much weight I've lost, but it still is needed.
I cannot sleep if there's not air stirring. And so, like, I sleep with the fan on, and it's terrible. It's terrible. You know what else is terrible?
What's terrible?
It's terrible the fact that let's address the elephant in the room. Why is this episode 249.5?
Okay. Because Justin wanted to be here for 250 and he was unavailable this week, so we just decided to reschedule 250 for next week. But
That's
of course, we think Gary may not be here, so ouch. But
Yeah,
I don't
it
think we
just
can push this
happens.
twice.
Yeah, and it's hard to push it twice. So next week we are recording a big 250 episode. So like we said last week, we want your emails, we want your voicemails, we want your tweets, we want all that. Anything that you would have to say or to talk about Nintendo Dads. If you love us, if you hate us, if you just stand us, yeah. So that's what we're looking for next week, and we're going to try to get everybody on that can. We're even going to try to get Gary to record something in, to put into the show. But, it's hard to get everything together for that. And the other thing that's terrible is it's been an absolutely molasses-like slow news week, right? Not
Yeah,
too much has happened.
we kind of had to scrape the barrel on what we're going to talk about.
Yeah. So maybe a little bit of a shorter show tonight, but that's okay. Next week we'll probably make up for it if everybody's on with an extra long show, right? So
Sounds
we
fair
just
to
put them
me.
all together. So Jesse, let's just jump straight into the news, shall we? And our news is brought to us each and every week by you over at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads, where for as little as $1 a month, you can come and join alongside of us and contribute to some of the most mediocre Nintendo content on the internet. No, we try. We try. No, you can contribute to some of the greatest content. I would dare say, and this is going to sound like a really bad, like prideful thing, but I would just look. I think that we have the best Nintendo community on the internet.
Agreed.
I really do. Like that. Like I go into our Discord and there are people talking about the Switch, and there's people talking about classic systems, and they're talking about accessories they're buying. They're showing off pictures of toys they've bought, and there's parenting advice and all kinds of other things. It's like it's become this close knit group of people who are like I feel comfortable with. I feel like I belong there. I feel like it's great. And so for $1 a month, you can get in there. All right. For $1 a month, you can come and be a part of the Discord. For $5 a month, you get access to the whole slew. What did Justin call that one time? The whole.
I don't remember.
The whole schlep. I don't remember what it was. The whole schlapple.
If he listens to these when he's not on, he'll probably come back with a correction.
He said he's coming in 10 minutes. He's on a business trip, and so he's going to Skype in 10 minutes.
Oh, is he?
He's just going to bust up in the show.
Oh,
so yeah. So the whole
he just wants to mess up my faces in OBS.
Yeah, the whole slew. I don't know. Just tell him to call in audio. But anyway, you can for $5 a month you get access to the whole spiel of channels. Some that we don't even like. I don't even know how many channels we have. 4 billion. For $10, you get it post and pre-show content. For $15, you get.
I think we're getting close to more channels archived than we have actually active channels.
That's true. That's true. And we need a channel just called Archive Channels. I don't know.
Well, we do.
List. I don't know. And then $30, you be a Patreon producer. You get to come on the show, and so that's really cool. But
okay. Well, before we start, I wanted to mention that we're trying something new this week, or we tried something new last week. We streamed to Twitch instead of YouTube, and we had a lot of people confused. So someone has told us about Restream.io, which lets us restream to Restream, and it will then send to both at the same time. So that's what we're doing and so far it seems like it's working. Let us know in the chats, plural, if you think it's good or if something's weird going on. I have the Restream chat client installed so I can see both chats at the same time, and if this ends up working well, I don't know what our limit is on the free version of Restream, but we might be able to add Facebook and or Twitter as well in the future.
Yeah.
And if
And
so we have options now.
Here's the other thing too. That's going to help us out on Extra Life this year. And we're going to talk about Extra Life and our plans for Extra Life later on in the show. But again, head on over to patreon.com/Nintendo Dads and join up if you haven't. If you're listening, there are literally thousands of you who listen that have not joined up over there yet. For $1 a month, you can make a huge difference and help us do more really, really cool stuff. Yeah, we'd love for you to do that. Awesome. One other change that we want to mention this week. Last week, we started trying new audio stuff for the show because we heard that, people wanted a better quality audio for the podcast, and we get that. Unfortunately, we've had to go back to our old way of recording this week because of Apple releasing the brand new iOS 10.15 update, Catalina. It busted Audacity on my computer, and it will not record anything. Like, it will not receive input from the mic. And so we're back to the old way of recording. So if the audio seems a little bit different or a little bit like it used to be, understand we get it, and we're trying to work on it. And as soon as Audacity releases a brand new version, we're going to jump on that. Okay? So hopefully by next week it will be fixed. If not, you get episode 250 the old way. Awesome. So let's talk about the news for this week. Just a couple of really just a couple of notable stuff. I want to talk for a little bit, not very long, but I want to talk for a little bit about the Pokemon live stream that happened last Friday. And for those of you who maybe don't know what this was, the Pokemon Company hosted a 24-hour live stream from some mysterious forest in the Galar region. And basically it was a fixed static shot of the forest with Pokemon that would pop up every now and then. It was basically a mid-year Yule log for Pokemon.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. And I don't know what people were expecting with the 24-hour live stream.
This is kind of exactly what I was expecting.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting much out of this.
Anyway,
Certainly wasn't expecting anyone to come out, like, walk in the middle of the forest with some big announcement.
Right. Here's the deal. All of that, all 24 hours, was simply to introduce the Shield exclusive Galarian Ponyta, which it looks like a majestic cotton candy unicorn of awesomeness.
Yeah, when it did its magic based or psychic based attacks, because it's a psychic type, like the mane and the tail just kind of had the colors kind of like scrolled, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
probably doesn't. Yeah, I would have had to have seen it, but
I did see it.
It looked pretty.
I watched a video of the moment of the reveal. What I feel sorry for
was it Game Explains? Because that's how I saw it.
Yeah, it was Game Explains. What I feel sorry for are the people who spent all 24 hours watching this, expecting huge things to happen. Right?
Well, again, I don't think Cerebi probably expected big things to happen, but he's probably one of the people who did watch it for all 24 hours.
So, it's a psychic type Pokemon. This is what I've seen ever since it's been revealed. Like, they were like, "What's its type? What's its type?" Well, they finally reveal it's a psychic type Pokemon. How can you have a purple, green, and blue pastel pony Pokemon and it not be fairy type?
Right. I was expecting this thing to be fairy type.
Call, by the way.
I'll
He's
think
ready.
about it.
You'll think about it. I think we should think about it. But anyway, I mean, like, it's not. But here's what I'm with Galarian Wheezing is fairy type.
Yes.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello. We were just talking about you.
Hear you. There we go. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear
Yeah,
you.
we can hear you.
What is going on? Hold on a second.
Shoddy Hotel Wi-Fi for $500, Alex.
What was that? Hotel Wi-Fi? No, this isn't even Wi-Fi. This is LTE.
Ooh.
I'm calling in directly out of our event that we are in for Calgary, and I'm sorry to interrupt the show, gentlemen, and I have not watched episode 249.5 or 249. 1, 2, 3. Don't make me count to 0 and come over there. But thank you for having me jump in. I just wanted to say to the community, sorry that we didn't do episode 250 today. I apologize, but next week is going to be awesome. So yeah, it was my mistake for not knowing how to read a calendar, so I apologize. But what are you guys talking about right now?
We were talking about Galarian Ponyta.
That has no interest to me whatsoever. I don't think what you said was actual words.
It's the pony Pokemon that got revealed during the live stream.
Yeah. That's enough for me to cancel any pre-order right now.
Well, my daughter loved it, and as soon as she saw it, she squealed and said, "Now we have to buy Pokemon for me too."
That is the dangerous honey trap that is Pokemon.
Yep. So now we're 3 copies in, just like Jesse used to be with his kids.
Oh, 4 copies. This is what I used to
4
be.
copies.
So hold up. Between the two of you, you're purchasing 7 copies of a game.
Well, I'm not buying 4 copies this time. I asked my oldest daughter; she wasn't interested this time. My son will probably buy his own. I've got a voucher with this name on it, and then I have to ask my youngest. So, at worst, I think I just have to buy 1 copy.
Nice.
At worst.
Well, I got the double pack. So, one for my son and one for me. He wanted Shield before he ever saw Surfetched. He wanted Shield, or he wanted Sword. I wanted Shield, because Shield Doggo is best Doggo. So.
Nothing wrong with that. I agree.
All right.
Yeah. What else we talking?
Well, Justin, it's been a slow news week.
It has been.
Nintendo Switch family of systems sold 10 million units in Europe as of this week.
That's not bad. It's a good number.
It's a good number. It is a good number, and that's about it. We're going to talk about some Mario Kart Tour updates and some games, some upcoming games,
right.
And then we're going to talk about what we've been playing.
Well, why don't we go into what we've been playing? Because you and I have been playing the same game, Marty, and I think that might be a good opportunity to lean in.
Yeah, why don't? And this may even just be a bit of news thing too. So you've been playing. You and I both have been playing Ukulele and the Impossible Lair.
We have been, absolutely.
And you have been loving it.
Yes.
I have been loving it.
Right.
But I think you love it more than I do.
Well, I think so. So again, full transparency, big thanks to Platonic Games and Team 17 for providing us an early access review code for that. This is a game that when it was announced, what was it, like 4 months ago? I was like, oh, that's super interesting, and I wonder what it's going to be like. I was kind of iffy after the first Ukulele, right? I think they bit off more than they could chew, and the nostalgia wasn't quite there. But then I saw this in this 2D platforming, and I was like, okay, you're speaking my language, right? You're speaking my video game language. And then I saw the reviews starting to come in, comparing it to Donkey Kong Country, and I was like, tell me more. And I am absolutely loving this game. And I know that it sounds like maybe it's a little bit of hyperbole, and other people have said this. This may very well be in my Game of the Year contenders as we talk about 2019. So I'm really loving it. McDonald's should sponsor me just for that statement there alone.
I've been playing it too. I think I'm on like chapter 6 or chapter 7.
Yeah.
I've been messing around a lot in the overworld too. I've actually put quite a few hours into it since yesterday, and I was very pleasantly surprised by it. I'll be honest. But last week on the show you talked about it being Donkey Kong Country like a love letter to it, and I thought, I really loved Donkey Kong Country back in the day, and I really did like the Returns and Tropical Freeze, so I'll give it a try. And man, it's really good. And you said something last week that I think is important, and you said, I've died a lot, but it's been fair. It's been when I die, it's my fault.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's one of the strengths of this game, is that it's difficult, it's challenging, but it's not so challenging that you can't play it.
Yeah, and there's something else in there in the challenge part, right? So, and I think especially from a parenting perspective, because maybe when you hear us talking about Donkey Kong Country or Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, you immediately have like this anger-induced hatred that you decide that you want to snap a controller because it was such a hard game, right?
Yeah.
It's so challenging. But what Ukulele does really well, and I don't know if Marty you've experienced this, if you continually die at a relatively same point, because the checkpoints first and foremost are frequent, right?
Mm-hmm.
They are pretty frequent. They're pretty there often enough that you kind of make a little bit of progress. Your palms are sweaty, you know, maybe knees are weak, you know, mom's spaghetti all over your sweater. Who knows? But you're able to kind of be like, whew, I made it. I'm okay to go forward. But if you continue to die at the same spot over and over, you actually have the ability. There's this kind of dialogue box that comes up during the save point that says, hey, if this is too hard for you, just hold X. And what it actually does is it actually jumps you to the next save point in the level. So instead of getting frustrated, instead of throwing your controller, instead of the kid walking away, you have the ability to say, you know what, it's okay, let's move on. And I thought that was such a brilliant touch. They've taken the formula of Donkey Kong Country, of 2D platformers, and they've done a really great job of adding kind of different bits and elements to it to kind of enhance that experience. And I thought that was a great game choice.
Yeah. I've really enjoyed finding all the different tonics as well, and
Yep.
ran into an area earlier where there were several tonics that I unlocked or found that were actually cosmetic tonics
Yep.
that caused things to happen to the game. One of those was Game Boy Resolution,
Yes.
which is ridiculously, yeah, like, so it takes the game and it makes it look like Donkey Kong Country on the Game Boy back in the day.
That sounds
Like it's
awful.
real pixelated and everything. Well, but then you put it in.
Was
with
it
the
one by
other
one
sensor.
back to
No,
a square?
it's all blown up, so it's very, very grainy and pixelated. And then you combine that with another tonic that's called GB Colors,
Yep.
and it's the pea soup green, and it's really hard to see, but it's so much fun to look at, you know. And just trying them on and trying them off. There's a noir one I found. I haven't tried that yet because I haven't bought it, but I've really, really enjoyed this game. And one thing that I think, I don't think this is a spoiler, but I think I just mention it, is it is, and I'm waiting for the stream to see somebody do this, right? It is entirely possible that you can beat the game at the very beginning.
Correct. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it doesn't do the only knock that I have about it so far in my time with it is it doesn't do a really good job in the beginning of explaining what the crap is going on.
Yeah, I would say that as well. The first couple opening moments when you're put in the impossible layer, you're like, oh, okay, I guess I'm just going through this level, and maybe they'll give me a tutorial, and then you kind of get kicked and you follow in the main world, the main overview, and then you get that dialogue. You're like, oh, okay, now I get it. But you're right. The great part about this game is at any moment, if you're like, I'm done, I feel like I can take like, it's kind of like, have you trained enough to take a shot at the champ? Have you got enough Bs? Because each B is a hit that you can take in the impossible layer.
Yes.
So maybe you've only got 15 of, I think it's 48 Bs. You'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna give a shot to the impossible layer, and you might be able to complete the game right there and then. So it's a really great opportunity for you to kind of decide, like, when do I want to keep trying it? It's going back, it's learning, it's growing. I thought that was a great spin on kind of the usual approach of like boss level at the very end, and you have to be skilled up and leveled. I thought it was really great. The other part of it that I think is absolutely brilliant, and I've heard some people talk about this as well, I think the overview, the overmap is just a great puzzle in itself. Exploring the world, those little bits and bobs through that are just so much fun. But then the great part is you jump into a level, and you play a level, and you complete it, and you're like, okay, cool. And then maybe there's something you do in the overworld, like maybe open a floodgate or throw or spill honey onto the book, the level that you're in. You now get what's the B side, so you get to do that level again, but now the elements have changed that level. So if maybe you'd flooded the over world with water, now that level is a water level that you just played. So there's this B side to it, which is absolutely brilliant. It makes replayability of each level tremendous, as opposed to like, oh,
Yes.
I beat that, maybe I'll go back for the coins. But now you're like, I'm gonna go back for those coins and a second level at it, and it changes everything, and it's so well crafted.
Yeah, and one thing that I was going to mention, those level changes, the fact that it's not just a throwaway. It's not just like, oh, and now there's water. In some levels, it opens up a completely different route, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like you're seeing things that you've not seen before. You're dealing with enemies maybe you've never dealt with before, and each of those levels has its own unlockable. Each A and B side has their own B to free. It has their own trouser coins to get, that kind of thing, and so tons of stuff to find and to do in this game.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5 for me.
Sure.
And simply because I'm still really having problems getting, I guess getting it used to the controls and getting used to all the moves and things. Like I feel like there should be, like, I don't know. It's really, really good though. So I don't think it's perfect. It's got a couple of things that do annoy me about it, but other than that, like one of the big ones is if you're used to Donkey Kong Country, if you've got Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong, you get hit, Diddy Kong is gone, right?
Yeah.
If you've got Yuka and Laylee and you get hit, Laylee can be regained, but it goes on this crazy random pattern of like flying around the screen, and if you don't get to it in enough time, Laylee flies off.
Yeah.
And
once you're without Laylee, it's
can't do anything.
Some of those abilities, you can do some things, but you lose some critical abilities that you need to be successful. So yeah, but I definitely agree with that as well.
Yeah. So it's really good though, and one thing I do want to ask you is, did you know about the Switch tax for this game?
So that came into my news feed as I saw people beginning to get it, and I think I was aware of it. And I mean, I think the Switch tax, and so when we're talking about the Switch tax here specifically, we are talking about cartridge. I want to make that very clear.
Yeah.
So I think the Switch tax for cartridge is about $10 approximately, depending on the region. I know Barry Dunn was saying it was about €5, which equals about $7.50 Canadian, $6 American, blah blah blah, but pretty close. So there is a Switch tax again that is cartridge based. If it's digital, or if you're going digital, you're grand. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to. But yeah, I was aware of that. And I think that is unfortunate for sure.
Well, I will say this: it is typically at Walmart right now. Games are running about $10 cheaper here in the U.S. And it is $29.88 at Walmart for the PlayStation version. I'm just looking for the website right now. $29.99 on the Xbox, and $33.88 for the Switch. However, Ukulele it's saying they're sold out for Xbox and PS4.
Really?
Yep. So I don't know. I could go to my Walmart and do some research on this. Like I was thinking that if it was that cost, that it would be $19.99 at Walmart for those, seeing as how the disc versions were starting out at $29.99. My problem is that Nintendo knows this is a problem, knows this is an issue. They need to do something about this quote unquote Switch tax. And it's on them. I think it's on them. It's not on the developers. It's on Nintendo. Subsidize the cost of the cartridges and be done with it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Right, the Nintendo's the one who's holding the purse strings on that, so that needs to be adjusted at their end for sure. The final things I'll say on this, and then I'm going to let you guys go because I'm going to be driving home here. There are a ton of games coming out in October. I know that September was also a big month, right? So we've got obviously Switcher 3 coming out next week. We've got Overwatch. You've got Luigi's Mansion, and we got hit up pretty hard in September. This is a game that's even remotely on your radar. I'd highly recommend it. I think it's great to play with kids. It can be definitely approachable, but this may be one to put on your maybe wish list for Nintendo, and then when it comes on sale, pick it up then. But I would definitely highly recommend it. I know it's going to be in my Game of the Year contenders for 2019 for sure.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, man, I know that this has been kind of difficult for you to be out on the road and call in and everything, but we appreciate it, and we're thankful you did.
No worries. Well, thank you guys for having me. Again, folks, next week, episode 250, that means that you have extra time right now to send in emails, voicemails, paper mache, food, whatever, to help us celebrate episode 250 next week. We greatly appreciate it, guys.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, Justin, be safe, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Later.
I wonder if he realized that everything he said, we had already said, except ukulele.
Probably
It's
not.
okay. No, he hadn't been listening. It's cool. It's more important when Justin says it, though. Anyway, so Pokemon Shield, circling back around to Ponyta, the only things that really were revealed during this whole thing was the Ponyta, and there was an appearance at one point by Impidimp, who has not been a confirmed Pokemon for this game yet, and they still have not.
Other than being in the E3 demo, but yeah, they've never actually talked about him.
Yeah, there's still, we're now a month away from this game pretty much, and there's still a ton of info that has not been released yet. First evolutions for starters.
Yeah, I'm getting to the point now. Don't tell us anymore. Don't tell us. Let us find out on our own. I highly doubt they'll do that, but if they haven't shared it by now, just don't.
I know people complain about Smash and all the Smash presentations and Smash Directs. There's been way more Pokemon information directs episodes, and it's time to just end it. I don't need to know anymore.
Can't forget about that Curry Dex. Can't forget about that Curry Dex.
Yeah, I know. Can't have all the Pokemon, but we can have all the Curry. Anyway, speaking of Europe,
I'm looking forward to see what the Galarian Rapidash will look like.
It will probably have a rainbow mane or the rainbows will be shooting out of its anus, and unicorns poop rainbows, Jesse. They do.
They do?
It's true. Go to the girls section of any toy store, and guess what you're going to find? Rainbow pooping unicorns. There you go. It's true.
Maybe Galarian Rapidash will be an alicorn.
Maybe that would be a nice little. But I'm telling you that I'm already going to say this. I will be
psychic flying type.
I will be naming my Galarian Ponyta My Little. Yeah, it's going to be the same. So let's talk again. The Galar region is Europe in Pokemon. Let's talk about real life.
Mecha Dragon says he's going to name it Celestia.
I like it. Let's talk about real life Europe. The Nintendo Switch family, by the way, is this the first time that terminology has been used by Nintendo itself?
I believe so, since this is the first time there's been two distinctly different systems at the same time.
So Nintendo announced this week, or Nintendo of Europe did, that or there was a report, I don't think they did, that the Nintendo Switch family of systems in the EU region has now sold over 10 million units, which includes the OG Switch, the new SKU Switch, and
3 models.
Switch Lite. So that's a pretty big deal. 10 million just in one region.
I don't know what other numbers look like for what other consoles look like, but just remembering Wii U was 13-ish million worldwide. So, Europe's almost going to pass that by themselves.
Yeah. So as of, I don't know if, it's not correct now because this was May, right? Nintendo Switch in May in Japan had sold 8.13 million units.
Yeah. Shellshock says Japan is close to 10 million.
Definitely over that, right? Japan's close to 10 million. North America's what was the What was the last count was 28 million, right? I think all in for Switch. The last time they did a physical report.
I don't remember, but probably.
Uh,
Yeah,
so
it's been a
so
while
we're
since I looked at
looking
those
at
numbers.
close to. Are you thinking that we're close to 35 million at this point?
Oh, yeah, we have to be.
Okay. Yeah.
If
Well, let's back up. Nintendo Switch had sold 34.74 million units to date, and this was in April of 2019.
okay, so
So
that was the end of that fiscal year.
we're
So
close to 40 now.
probably maybe close to 40. Definitely we'll pass it by the end of holiday
July
season.
30th, they hit 36.87 million consoles.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Well, yeah.
it's hard to
So
find it. And y'all, it's hard to find this on the fly. I think the biggest thing that we wanted to talk about was Europe. Europe alone
yeah,
selling 10 million.
by end of October we should have second quarter numbers. So
Yes. And business Justin will have to come. Shellshock Prime asks us on Twitch, do you think that we'll get to 50 by March? Yes.
yeah, I think it's
Yes.
possible.
Because of the Switch Lite. Yes. I'm predicting like now that the Switch Lite has been out, I know that it didn't get off to the sales start Nintendo wanted it to. I think it's going to do absolutely gangbusters over Black Friday weekend. I
Yeah,
think there's
yeah.
going to be some kind of Nintendo Switch Lite promotion or bundle or something for parents to buy into this holiday.
I think they were expecting Link's Awakening to be enough of a draw on the light, but I think most people are just waiting for the Pokemon.
Yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely.
Yeah, we
You
get
know,
confused Mecha Dragon because yeah, we have two chats.
so for those of you who are listening and not watching, well, you wouldn't see it if you're watching anyway. We're streaming on both Twitch and YouTube now, which means we have two chat streams as well. And so if you're on Twitch, like Shellshock Prime is, thanks for watching over there, by the way, or if you're on YouTube, like Mecha Dragon 101 is, you're not going to see each other's chats, but we're going to talk to you as you talk to us. All right, thumbs up. Uh, let's talk about a couple more news items here. Mario Kart Tour got an update this week, pretty substantial update, by the way, and with addition of a brand new tour. So if you were playing last week and you haven't logged in yet until today, there will be a download, and you will now be in the Tokyo Tour, which previously you were in the New York Tour. And this brings along with it brand new characters, brand new challenges, brand new tracks, and all kinds of other stuff that you can unlock, as well as a brand new like pipe thing where you can get a new character. So far, here are the new tracks, and I'll list these. The Tokyo Blur track is new. Mario Circuit is now a track. Rainbow Road is now in the game. Then that's the original SNES Rainbow Road. Neo Bowser City, Mario Circuit 2, and Choco Island 2 from the SNES, as well as Calamari Desert from the N64 version of the game. And that's as far as I've gotten into it. Also, now new characters that have been added are all of the Koopa Kids, Rosalina and Baby Rosalina, Diddy Kong, Wario, Bowser Jr., Lackey 2, and Kimono Peach and Kimono Mario.
So was the fourth Mario already?
This is the fourth Mario variant. And the fifth Mario variant, if you count Baby Mario as a variant.
He's his own character.
No, he is not. He's just Mario as a baby. That's why it
Well,
sucks.
it still requires a different model other than just a clothes swap.
Right. But I do want to draw your attention to this fun little item, because we were pretty hard on Mario Kart's DLC over the last couple of weeks, right? And deservedly so. We're down, purchasables.
No arguments here.
Are
No arguments here.
Yeah,
Deservedly so is the right words for it.
there's some new purchasables here. You can buy Rosalina as well as a pack of 48 or 45 rubies and 5-star tickets for $20. Or, and this one will just blow your mind,
Oh no.
90 rubies, one quick ticket, and Diddy Kong for $40.
I was going to guess 50. So yeah. What?
$40. You look, honestly, at this point, you could get Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for the cost of Diddy Kong.
Yeah.
And I get like people are angry and people are uninstalling about this, but honestly, all of the stuff that I have gotten so far, I've done two things, right? I've played the game and I bought the gold pass and I'm canceling it at the end of 2 weeks.
So you're not
So
charged.
what I did, so I'm getting the 2 weeks and I'm getting all the items I can in 2 weeks and then I'm done. And so you can honestly, you can get all the drivers. You can get, well, I mean, you can grind and get them, or you can pay for them, right? So the quick tickets, Mecha Dragon asked us, what do quick tickets do again? They allow you to tap on them during a race and get an item immediately. Yeah, like where if you have an empty item slot. So I've never used them, never going to use them. But like I am enjoying the game. I'm still enjoying it. Do I think that it's kind of shady? Yeah. Am I going to play it because it's free? Yeah. Here's the one thing that I think Nintendo is doing absolutely right with this game. I don't know if we mentioned this last week, but guys, honestly, this is free Mario Kart. You can play anytime, anywhere, and there are no energy recharges that you have to wait for. Right? Like on Dr. Mario, it's like, oh, you lost all your parts. Now you can't play anymore. No, you can play as much Mario Kart as you want to. You can replay tracks over and over and over again if you want to. And so I think that it's a win for that, but I don't like this pricing. I don't. I wish there was like a super season pass, which would be like, you're going to get everything that you can get that's in, you can get everything that's going to be introduced in this tour. You can get it for, or everything in the game even for $60. And I think that's what the majority of people have said. But anyway, that's going to be, until Nintendo gets it figured out, this is going to be a hot button issue. And it makes me worried about, because there's that mystery Zelda mobile title that's out there, right?
Yeah.
It makes me worried about what that's going to be like. Anyway.
Hopefully they hear the feedback about this one and they kind of go back to the middle ground.
Sure. Absolutely. That would be great. But this is Nintendo. They're probably not. They're just going to say, we're going to do it this way. Don't like it. Get over it. Also, bad news this week. Doom Eternal, which is really look forward to game for a lot of people, has now been delayed on all platforms, including the Switch, until March 20th, 2020. However, in the press release that ID put out, the Switch version has no release date, and they confirmed that it would release later on than the rest of the versions.
Again.
I hate this. I really do.
Yeah, we gave him props for announcing the Switch day and date with everything else, and now, I'm okay with delays, but if the Switch was still day and date with other systems, I would be great. Delays all you want, make the game nice. But the fact that they're delaying the Switch further, it's like, really?
And it's not going to be like a 2-week delay, right? It's probably not going to be a 1-month delay. It's probably going to be more like 3 to 6 months after.
Which tells me the game is nowhere near where they want it to be, and they said we have to drop this to get the others up and running, and then we'll go back and fix the Switch version later.
They're actually going to be adding some different modes, and there's a couple of, I guess, good news things out of this, if you have to take a delay as good news. But I'm trying to pull this up right now as we're speaking. So there's going to be a new mode called Invasion Mode, which will allow you to enter another player's game as a playable demon, and that will release as a free update shortly after launch. But also, Doom 64, which was originally announced for the Nintendo Switch in the last Indies Direct, or the last Direct, I guess, is now going to be a pre-order bonus for the game, but it's also going to be available for all platforms, not just the Switch. And in our chat,
On March
Megadreck
20th.
asked, why did
It's
they have
also
to delay
delayed.
Doom 64 with this too? That's the reason they're delaying it, so they can put it on other platforms.
Yep, this
That's
is... What other game did that?
Rayman Legends.
Rayman. Yeah.
Rayman Legends for the Wii U. Ubisoft. That sucked. Terrible. Terrible. And so, like, I was in GameStop on Tuesday, picking up Ukulele, and the guy working the counter and another guy were talking about the Doom delay, and he was really upset about it. He's like, I get that it's going to be a great game when it comes out, but it sucks. It sucks that it gets delayed, but I'd rather it be delayed and be good than it be delayed or not delayed and be terrible. But I get it. I understand why people don't want it to be delayed. The fun thing that I saw from earlier, though, is it was a poll, and I don't know if it was from IGN or if it was from someone affiliated with IGN, and it said, on March 20th, what will my friends be ripping and tearing? And the poll options were demons and weeds.
Right. 'Cause
And guess
Animal
what was winning?
Crossing. Animal
Guess
Crossing.
what was winning? Animal Crossing was winning at like 78%.
Wow.
It's fantastic. Rip and tear some weeds. I love it. There's a ton of games coming out March 20th, though. Like, I don't think that's the only one, or those two are the only ones. But anyway, Doom has been delayed. Doom 64 coming as a pre-order bonus, and Switch will come after the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 versions. Blech. That's my commentary on that. A couple of games.
Very official and professional. Blah.
Yeah, that's very well. What can you say about it? I'm so happy that we get a version that's 4 months behind everyone else.
Right.
A couple of games we want to, or we think you need to keep your eye on. Again, another delay. Black Sad is now delayed to November 5th, 2019. What is this game, Jesse?
I don't even remember. I just heard. I have it in my game notes. Let me see if I can look it up real quick. It was featured.
You put it in here like it was important.
It was featured on an Indie Direct, so I had it in my future game releases. So it was important enough to be that. And I can spell it right, and it might help.
It is an upcoming adventure game developed by Pendulo Studios, and it's an adaptation of the Eisner-winning Spanish comic Black Sad.
Yeah, I'm seeing. I think images of the
detective.
comics. It's like, and then the detective is a cat. So I'm
Yeah.
confused.
Now, it also says November 5th, 2019, Nintendo Switch Q4 2019.
Really?
So it's not going to be day and date either. So all of a sudden, it's 2017, early 2018 again for the Switch. Come on, guys. You've had plenty of time to learn how to develop for the Switch. Get it together. If Nintendo can take Smash Brothers and compress it down to 16 megs or however much it is, you can get a game out on the same day as it is everywhere else. Rant done. Jeez. It's literally your job to develop a game and have it out on the same day on all systems. Do your job.
It's like they're forgetting that the Switch is about to outsell the Xbox One.
Yeah. But because of teraflops and graphics, everybody, let's put it out on the Xbox One first. You know what I'd love to see? I'd love to see an Xbox One version get delayed, or developers stop supporting the Xbox One because of bullcrap reasons that we've heard for the Switch, like EA is given. Well, we'll go there when the people are there. Well, if there's more people on the Switch than there are on the Xbox One, you would think that that's the version that needs to be delayed.
We're just waiting for you to make a good game.
Never. Dragon Quest of the Stars is now out on iOS and Android.
Well, it's not. That's an announcement.
It's releasing. I'm sorry, it's releasing. This is a Dragon Quest game, right? This is in the Dragon Quest family, correct?
Yeah. I don't. The only thing I know about it is what I have in the notes. It is the game will take
intergalactic journey to prevent the destruction of planets and worlds.
Yep. So they're going off world and they're Mario Galaxying it.
Nice.
So I have no idea what that means. I don't know if it'll be a paid game, free to play, free to start, etc. But
gotcha.
It's slotted for early 2020.
Yeah. Also, releasing this week. Here's some things that you need to be aware of releasing this week. Tomorrow or today, as you're hearing this, Killer Queen Black is finally coming to the Switch, and a lot of people hyped up for that one. Also, next week on the 15th, you'll finally be able to play Overwatch on the Switch. Justin's excited about that. I'm excited about that. And next Thursday, the Jackbox Party Pack 6 releases on all platforms. See, they can get it out at the same time on all the systems. They could put this thing on. Don't they have it on like Fire Stick?
They had older ones. I don't know if they're still doing that.
I mean, it's coming out everywhere. You're gonna be able to play this on like your Alexa or your Wi-Fi enabled fridge. You can play Jackbox Party Pack 6. I'm super excited about this one, if only because of Trivia Murder Party 2.
That's going to be the game that everyone wants to play.
I cannot wait to play
Trivia
Murder Party 2.
I watched a live stream that they hosted today. They played some Jackbox. They played Push the Button, and then they played the dictionary one. I forget the name of that off the top of my head.
Yes, that one was good too.
And that one looked fun. Jackbox.
There's always a couple of good ones, a couple of meh, and one stinker.
Yeah. Jackbox, it would be good if you have people who like wordplay. Like, I do sometimes. My kids do not. So it's not fun to play games like that with them. Press the button. It looks like it's a fun game. It looks like it's not going to be. It can be played online remotely, but it's really meant to see the body language of the players in the same room, much like when you had a point. I forget the game from Pack 3. I forget. You had a.
Yeah, it's the one nobody ever plays.
Right. Anyway, but yeah, Murder Party 2 is the one everyone in chat was asking about, but they wouldn't talk about it because they know that's the one everyone wants to see. Right. So they're not talking about that because they need to push the other 4 games.
As long as they never make another Zeeple Dome, great. It's the most garbage Jackbox game. Zeeple Dome from Party Pack 5, terrible. If you've never played it, don't waste your time. It's not great.
I don't even think I've played that one.
Shell Shock Prime asks, would it surprise you guys if Jackbox would be on a Tesla? No. If you could play Jackbox while your car drives itself, yes. I'm into that.
As long as it has LTE, it has internet access.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, guys, that's all of our news and headlines. I want to discuss something for just a minute, Jesse. Let's do it. So news broke this week, a couple days ago, out of Montreal, Canada, that a class action lawsuit has been filed against Epic Games on behalf of 2 parents who say their children have a legitimate addiction to Fortnite.
Okay.
In fact, the language that was used was that it was dangerously addictive, like cocaine.
I don't think they've ever used cocaine.
I don't know. The lawsuit also makes the claim that Epic Games, quote, knowingly put out on the market a very, very addictive game which was also geared toward youth.
It's rated T. Guess what? That's youth.
Right. The parents claim that Fortnite creates a chemical addiction in players by releasing dopamine in a way that is similar to taking drugs like cocaine. The article also mentions what Jesse just said, that Fortnite is rated T for teen, which means only people age 13 and up are supposed to play it. They make the claim that Fortnite earned Epic Games $2.4 billion next year, which, by the way, everyone, is the real reason this lawsuit is being filed.
Right.
Because
in class action lawsuits, the victims get a penny and a half if they're lucky.
Yeah.
All the money goes to the lawyers.
So it's at this point that we get to switch over from the Nintendo to the dads. All right. Jesse, before I explode, what do you think about this?
So the question when I first saw it posed to us was, where does it parenting, where is this parenting, or is the responsibility on the parent, or is the responsibility on Epic? And guess what? You're a parent. You are a parent of a 10-year-old that, in playing a rated T game, that should have been a big red flag there that you need to start paying attention, not paying attention after whatever happened after you thought that they were quote unquote addicted. Because I don't think I saw what the end result of that was. But and I said it before my show when I started having my son was 12 when he started playing Call of Duty, which I think was rated T at the time, just before it started going to M. But yeah, I was watching him like a hawk, making sure that he was still doing good in school. His personality wasn't changing, and he was fine.
Yeah.
Not all kids would be.
Whoa, hang on. This is revolutionary. You were being a parent.
And they sometimes hate me for it, but guess what? It's not my job to be a friend with them all the time.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, here's the deal. It is not Epic Games' responsibility to raise your children. Just like it is not WWE's responsibility to raise your children, just like it's not Microsoft's responsibility to raise your children, or PlayStation, or the film industry, or anybody. Guess whose responsibility it is to raise your children, folks? It's yours. If you have kids, it's your responsibility to keep them alive and raise them in the way that they should go. And I understand that's going to be different for a lot of people, but I think we can agree that there's some general ground rules that you probably need to follow for exposing your kids to media, right?
Yeah. Like another example, here's another example I have, not gaming related but movie related. Every superhero movie that's ever come out, we were okay with our kids watching, even except for one, the Batman movie with Heath Ledger in it.
Yeah.
What was that, 2012?
No, it was before that.
Before that? Well, yeah, it was before that. I don't remember how old they were, but I think the oldest one might have been 12 years old at the time.
Yeah, see, that movie came out in 2008.
2008, okay. So, yeah, okay, so my daughter was 8 years old at the time. The oldest one was 8. So that was a hard no. Once my wife and I saw it, and when we saw without them, and we verified, yeah, we don't want our kids seeing this. For one specific scene in particular, if you want to see a magic trick, there you go.
Yes. Yeah, again, you were being a parent.
Yes.
And sometimes parents have to make decisions that are hard. And, like we've gone through in our country, in America in particular, and I know we're an international podcast, we get listened to in a lot of different countries, but in America in particular, we have gone to spectacular lengths to keep parents from being parents, right? There's warning labels and stickers and all kinds of junk on everything. Video games are rated.
The plastic bag is not a toy.
Plastic bag's not a toy. Uh, Video games, movies are rated. I'm surprised books aren't rated by this point.
I'm sure at one point they were, but at least.
But I guess what I'm saying is that when you remove responsibility from the parent and you make it the responsibility of the company, you set a very dangerous precedent, right?
Right. Well, even like the comic book industry back in the
There's
50s?
warning labels on comics.
Yeah, well, like the whole thing with the comic authority was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But was a thing because that was the times.
But look, can I be honest with you? And some people that listen to the show may not like this. I'm gonna say it. It's the same argument with guns. It's the same argument with everything.
Yeah.
With alcohol, with everything. We take personal responsibility away from people, and when we do that, we get bull crap like this, where we're blaming something that is inanimate for the decision that you've made to allow your kids to do whatever they want. I'm sorry. If I were a judge and this lawsuit came before me, I would laugh at them and I would throw it out. Because nobody gave you nobody set your kids down and said, you must play Fortnite.
Right.
And I don't care what it is, any game can be just as addictive, right? I mean, we're going over this whole thing about loot boxes and bundles and all kinds of other crap because of Overwatch and because of Rocket League and mobile games, getting into the whole, gambling aspect of it. I get that. But understand that just like Mario Kart Tour, just like we talked about a minute ago with Mario Kart Tour, everything that you want in Fortnite, everything that you can get in Fortnite can be earned in some shape, form, or fashion if you're willing to play the game. You have the ability to walk into your child's room, Mom. You have the ability to walk into your child's room, Dad, and say, give me the controller, or unplug the system, or take the box, turn off the internet, do whatever. It is not Epic Games' responsibility. It's yours.
Yeah, that's the reason why I have two Wi-Fis in the house. One is I use for my stuff, and the other that I had the kids use for their stuff. And if it was bedtime and they weren't listening or they needed to do homework, I shut theirs off. They hated it, but they learned that was what happens.
You may be surprised to learn this. Here's the Nintendo dad, right? My kids get an hour a day. Get an hour a day. If you and sometimes
some kids need that. I probably should have been more strict with time with my kids. I wasn't, but I know some kids need that.
Sometimes we're more
flexible. All of this
with it,
is
the general
an individual situation that requires individual.
Yeah.
I can't even think of the word.
It requires it requires you to respond to the individual needs of your child.
Right.
It's not one size fits all, right? And so that's why. But what I'm saying is this: if this lawsuit goes forward, and this is allowed, this is going to be a huge bombshell in the midst of the video game industry. And I can't see it going forward because, again, parents, you have the personal responsibility wherever you are with your kid. Bottom line is, if they live in your house, they're paying rent. Whether you charge them or not, they're paying rent. And that means that what you want to go on under your roof goes under your roof. Why? Because you own the house, because you make the money, because you support them. They're not a full adult yet. And so feel free to go in there, tell them, hey, look, do this. I'll even be the bad guy. All right. You go in there and you yank the cord out of their Xbox or PlayStation or Switch or whatever, and you tell them, Marty from Nintendo Dads told me to do this. All right. He said it's okay.
They'll say, who the hell is he?
That's right. That's exactly what they'll say. I mean, who's that? Well, it doesn't matter. It's going to be like The Rock on SmackDown. Who's that? It doesn't matter who that is. Just take it. Be done. I'm sorry. Like that.
You smell what that's cooking?
I do. Man, I get fired up about this because I am so tired of our culture blame shifting constantly.
I've only had to deal with 3 kids. You have to deal with dozens of kids with your church, right? More than just your own personal kids. So you probably feel this more than honestly, I do.
I want to rewind this and say this: the reason we're so strict on time is because we know the personalities of our kids, and we know that if unchecked, that's all they will do is sit on their iPad or sit on their Switch. And my son, being on the autism spectrum, he doesn't need that because he's already fixated on it. Right. That's one of his triggers. He's already fixated on it. So we try to give him a buffer there. And for him, we have to be more explicit. Like we have to be like, you've got to put it down. You've had enough time. And my daughter's the same way. She is addicted to Netflix and she's addicted to YouTube. Now, am I going to say it's like crack? No, because I can look at her and say, Annalise, put down the iPad. And you know what she'll do? Okay. She might go, oh, but you know why they do that? Because number one, because we've built a relationship with our kids and they trust us and they listen to us sometimes, most of the time. The other reason is because they know that if they don't do what I ask them to do, guess what? Guess what the first thing that gets taken is?
The devices?
Yes. They went to Texas for half a week for fall break, and I happened to just need to go upstairs, and I walk upstairs, and it looked like a bomb had gone off upstairs, which is where my kids live. They have 2 rooms up there. There's a guest room. It's a bathroom. There was just junk everywhere. And so I called my wife, and I was like, I'm about to send you some pictures of upstairs. And she's like, is everything okay? And I said, yes. But my children, I'm sending you this picture so that you understand when they walk through the door on Wednesday when you get back, they're going to hand me their iPads and their Switches, and they're not going to touch a remote control for the TV until the upstairs is done. And I told her, I said, we're not going to fuss about it. We're not going to fight about it. We're not going to yell about it. We're not going to raise our voice. It's just that you were asked to clean your room, and you didn't before you left, so now you're going to pay the consequences. So when they came in, like she had already talked to them, they walked in, they handed me their devices after we, hugged and kissed and was like, hey, I'm so glad you're home. I said, go get your devices. And they handed them to me. Why? Because I'm the parent. Because I'm the parent, and you didn't do what I asked you to do, and so now you're going to pay the consequences. Same thing here. If your kid's playing too much Fortnite, stop them from playing Fortnite. Take it away. Right. Be done with it.
If they have a computer in the room, take it out. Kids should not have a computer in the room at that age. It should be in a place where you can monitor what they're doing.
Yes.
It doesn't mean you hover over them and watch everything they do, but just be in eyesight so you can look every once in a while.
That's like internet safety rule number 1, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like
a computer in a public place.
Yeah, it's like just any interaction with a child and anyone else needs to be in eyesight of a parent.
Yeah. Anyway,
doesn't matter if it's a computer or not.
Honestly, I could sit and rant about this all night. I think that we as largely as a culture, we have abdicated our role as shepherd, guide, protector, all of that, and we're blame shifting it onto somebody else. But yet at the same time, we have increased our helicopteriness, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like I'm gonna be the helicopter, and I'm gonna be way up here, and my blades are spinning, and I'm gonna hover over my child, but I'm just gonna hover over him and see what happens. I'm not going to observe. I'm not going to tell them not to do anything. I'm just going to observe and see if they can make it on their own. And I don't understand that. I love my kids too much to not tell them no every now and then. You know,
Right.
I don't know. Anyway, lawsuit, dumb. It's stupid. The parents are stupid. The kids are dumb too. They should listen to their parents. Just again, I want to let's rewind back to what Jesse said. You can't be your kid's friend all the time, and that's where that's where this started. Parents that wanted to be their kid's friend, and then now they're 8 hours a day on Fortnite, 10 hours a day on Fortnite. They're sneaking it in the middle of the night playing Fortnite. Why? Because you didn't set boundaries. You didn't set boundaries. So there's your Nintendo dads. Dad tip of the day. Dads and moms that listen to the show, set some healthy boundaries for your kids. It's going to be different for each and every one of them, but you need to set boundaries not just on technology. You need boundaries for everything. Why? So we as parents help develop, not grow, not manufacture, but we help develop, we help shape well-rounded individuals who contribute to society.
Right.
Right? I mean, and I want to point this out in our chat on YouTube. Super Nintendo Switch Nerd 2017. He says this. I like how you say don't always be the kid's friend instead of saying you're not your kid's friend at all. That's exactly right. Because you know what? There's going to be times where my kids and we're friends. You know, yes, I want to be their friend. I want them to like me, right? We want to be loved by our kids if we have them. The problem is, though, is that when that's all you do, you have to be the parent first, friend second. And sometimes that means being the bad guy. And I don't like being the bad guy at all. Like, you can ask my wife. I make her be the bad guy a lot.
Right.
But I like, because she has way less mercy than I do. Because I'm like, oh, just give it back to them. You know, they'll be fine. They've learned their lesson. But no, she's like, no, you got to, if you say you're going to do this, if you say you're going to take it for a week, it's gone for a week. You know, and that's, you know, follow through is important. But anyway, boundaries are good. Boundaries are good. That is our lesson for the day. Let's move on and let's talk about what we've been playing. Shall we? Jesse, I have already talked way too much about what I've been playing. Why don't you tell us what you've been playing?
Okay. I played a little bit of Burger Time Party, which I thought launched today. So I was planning on having a video ready to go out Thursday morning. But no, it launched on Tuesday. So I'm like, crap. So instead of pre-recording a Let's Play like I did with NeoCab, I did a live Let's Play Tuesday evening. Played about 70-ish minutes of various modes. I couldn't do any multiplayer modes because I was by myself. I might have a chance to play some multiplayer this weekend. I might talk more about that next week. But if you know what Burger Time is, this is more of that. It's got more, it's like, it has HD hand-drawn graphics, and the way some of the enemies animate almost reminds me of Cuphead-ish. And I was kind of impressed with it. Yeah, I was trying to remember other Burger Time games that I played. Like, some had the enemies blended in with the background and made things difficult to see. Like Super Burger Time did that, and other games allow you to jump. This one does not. This has more traditional controls. Like they have the main game is like just single screen missions. You know, do these without running out of your lives. You start with 3 peppers to stun the enemies, and they recharge over time. Then, excuse me. And once you finish it, then you get the next board, and everything resets. And there was like 20 levels of 20 stages that are kind of like the tutorial, and then it opened up more stages in that section that I didn't get into. Then I went into the next menu option, which was more of that, but more complicated puzzles. Not really puzzles, but just, you know, instead of just making 1 burger, you have to make 5, and varying varying heights and gets more enemies. I think there's supposed to be like maybe 100 stages. I got to 20 and noticed that there was at least 20 more. It shows 5 per page, and it shows like 4 pages deep, forward and backward of where I am. So there's a lot of gameplay a lot of game content going on here. Another mode is more like the original arcade in that it's stage after stage, but it's just continuous play instead of breaking for a stage select victory screen every time. And here you collect the additional food items to gain peppers, additional pepper uses just like in the arcade, and you're able to gain lives and the lives don't reset every stage either. That all works together. And okay, looks like Justin's asking to be rejoined again, or either that or I'm seeing really old messages in Discord. One of the two.
I think you're seeing really old messages.
Okay. All right. Never mind then.
Tim's going to hop in though here in a minute.
Okay. So it's musical chairs tonight.
It is.
Okay. And then the marathonish mode does have like online leaderboards, and they have multiple levels. I think I unlocked the second level. I didn't unlock the hardest levels yet, and these other levels can be played with up to 4 people. So I'm sure the people who did get higher scores probably played with 4 people, and 4 people who knew what they were doing, because the lives in that mode of the game are shared between all the players. So if you're playing a 4-player game and you have 3 lives, I cannot lose a life, but if everyone else loses one, we're a game over. And there's another multiplayer mode that is at least it does require at least 2 people. It's think of it like what Pac-Man Versus was. One person's Peter, and the others are one of the food foes tries to catch him. That's another mode I haven't had a chance to play yet, but I want to try it. So I like the game. I want to play more, but on the other hand, it kind of made me want to play the original arcade again. So they each have their different draws on the back of my head, but definitely the Burger Time Party has significant content more than just what the arcade has. So I think if you like the Burger Time gameplay, you'll like this. If you don't, this isn't going to win you over.
Cool. But it is cool to see like an old series like that kind of be brought back to life, right?
Yeah, I was surprised when I heard about this and was I was going to buy it anyway, but I ended up getting we asked for a review code and was able to get it.
Yeah, perfect. You've been playing anything else?
Nothing else I want to talk about.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I understand.
Yeah, I pre-purchased the Killer Queen Black, so I'll be playing that this weekend, and I'm still wanting to play Dragon Quest. I have 4 games I bought that I haven't even touched yet because I have other games going on, and One Night Stand I also bought and haven't had a chance to play. So that's I have a backlog.
Yeah.
And of course,
I have a huge backlog too.
And I also have the review copy of Little Town Hero. I believe on Saturday we're able to do Let's Plays. We can't do full reviews until Tuesday, or I think Monday. But I don't normally do reviews, so I
can't wait to see your Let's Play of it because I want to see it in action.
So I'll plan on doing that.
The 30 seconds they showed of it on.
Right. So I plan on doing that Saturday night because
excellent.
My Saturday day is pretty busy. I'll be doing an escape room with my kids in the afternoon, and then in the evening I'll have time.
What you need to do is just lock them in it and escape. Or get an ice cream cone or something. I don't know. So in addition to ukulele, which I talked about earlier in the show, I've been also been playing Ori and the Blind Forest, which I bought on the day that it came out, but just really got around to launching this week. I talked a little bit about the demo early, or I think on like a couple of shows ago. I really, really like this game, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. The story is very touching. The only thing I don't like about it is that like you the manually created save states, right? Like where you have to like save up your energy, which is usually not that hard to come by. You can usually pop one off whenever, but you create the save point.
Well, which game is this again?
Ori and the Blind Forest.
Okay.
And so I see why it was so popular on Xbox One when it first came out. I'm glad it's on Switch, and I've been making my way through it. I'm probably about a third of the way through the game, and so far it's been good. It is frustrating in some parts because it just is over and over and over again. Like, you know, I got past like the first third of the game. I did the thing that you were supposed to do, which I'm not going to spoil, and your reward for doing the thing you're supposed to do is that rapidly rising floodwaters start chasing you vertically on the screen.
That sounds rude.
And you have to outrun them. And it's just, if you don't, then you can get all the way to the very end, which is a pretty lengthy sequence. You can get all the way to the very end and die because you can't make save states while this is going on, because one of the rules of gameplay in Ori is you can't make a save state, or you can't drop a save point when you're in danger. So it's this huge sequence that if you get to the end, you end up dying and having to go all the way back through it. And that's been my problem, is just forgetting to make a save state or save point and then like having to go all the way back through something I'd already done. And that's my fault. I get it, but I think it's also a little flaw.
Sounds like some RPGs I've played where I thought it was autosaving, and after 3 hours, oh, nope, I have to start over.
I've really enjoyed the game. One other game I want to mention very, very quickly that caught my eye because somebody tweeted about it is Cubix, which just, I guess, has been out a couple weeks. I didn't know, but if you've ever played, if you remember the game, I think it's Kix that was on the Game Boy back in the day, Qixx. This is the same concept, but it's a 3D version. So you're playing on a cube instead of a square, and you're carving out parts of this square while avoiding enemies and also keeping yourself like getting power-ups and making sure you can get to the next part. And you have to carve through a specific percentage of the cube and like drop it off for you to advance to the next level. And it was like $4.99. So I was like, yeah, I'll try it. You know, not really expecting much. And like the first time that I played it, it like sucked me down a rabbit hole for like an hour and a half. Even when I was dying, I was having a great time. It's got it's kind of trippy visuals, and I wouldn't call it a generic techno soundtrack, but it's pretty, it's it's drum and bass, EDM type stuff. But it's actually really good, like as a game. It scratches the puzzle itch that seems to not be as supported on the Switch for some reason yet. Like, I would love for there to be more puzzle games, but I don't know that any system is getting all that many puzzle games these days. Everything's about blowing demons' heads off and weeding gardens. So,
Marty, I used to love that game on my 5200. It was called Key, I think, on that system.
Yeah. Yeah, see, and the thing is I always wanted that for the original Game Boy because it had like Mario in it, and I always saw these previews of it but never could find it. Like it was a hard game to find in my area for some reason, and I never got it. I always hoped that it would be on Virtual Console or something. Never came out. This is a good substitute, and I think it's still $5, so you're not losing that much. I would recommend it if you're a fan of puzzle games, action puzzle games, or that concept sounds cool to you. It's actually really easy to play. It's a whole lot of fun. So Tim, thanks for joining us. Tim was supposed to be on the show tonight and fell asleep, as you do when you're a dad and you're at work and you've had a long week and you're tired, and we haven't really prepped you for being on the show tonight either. That happens too. So thanks for waking up and jumping on the show. And you've got something you want to talk about that you've been playing.
Yeah, I've actually just this week finished. Well, I didn't finish playing it, but I did a first impressions of Darksiders 2, the definitive edition. Man, it's hard to say.
Yeah,
But
I'm all for pun names, but I wasn't expecting a pun name in a Darksiders game.
yeah, it was, and it's interesting how they use that together, definitive instead of definitive or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, definitive.
Yes. But yeah, I put first impressions up on YouTube. Basically, that game to me, it actually came out a long time ago, 2012 on Xbox and 360 and PS3, and then they did re-release it for the PS4 and Xbox One, and then just recently for the Switch. And that's when we got a review code, and I got to start playing it. And I'm absolutely loving that game. I'm loving what I've been playing, and not only because of what they used to say about it, because I've been told and read articles about it playing like a Zelda game or having Zelda elements to it. But to me, it reminds me more of God of War. So back in the Wii U days, because we had far and few between games, not only did I have my, DS or 3DS to help kind of supplement the games I would get on there, but I also have my PlayStation where I would play games on there as well. And God of War was one of those games. Actually, it was my PSP that started with that. And I loved those games on the PSP, which got me back into the PlayStation console games to play those on the console versions. But the reason why I mentioned that it's like that is because there's some elements of it that some of the story elements or cinematics remind me of God of War, as well as some of the combat, which is the hack and slash type combat style for a game. So for me,
I think I tried playing the original Darksiders on PS3, and I didn't get it. It didn't click with me.
Yeah, and that's something too. I haven't played that one either, the first one. And I don't think you need to play it in order to play this one. It does well in telling you what's going on or what happened in the previous game. I think because I didn't look into it, I didn't research it. I just jumped right into the game, and it's for me, it's well enough to play and follow the storyline, but the storyline isn't that in depth to where you can get lost or forget where you're at when you come back to the game. So it's a good game to pick up, play for 20 to 40 minutes, and then put back down. Because not only is it easy to remember what you're playing story-wise, but they also have kind of like your quest list, things you have to do to progress through the story, as well as some side quests that you can do in there as well, and it keeps track of that very well on the map. So again, this game, I've wanted to play it ever since it came out the first time because of what it sounded like it was like, and just has always been one of those games I just kind of put on the back burner and never got around to buying or getting, or never got as a gift. And this one was going to be one of those things that I was going to add to the Christmas list, I suppose, or add to the wish list in case it came on sale and I did get some Christmas funds or something. But to be honest, I shouldn't have done that. I should have gotten on that right away, because this is my style of game where it's your action adventure hack and slash type game that you can jump into and play quickly. And then so that's, again, I did a first impressions of that. I posted it on YouTube, and then just today I got the code to check out Ghostbusters. So I'll be talking about that more soon. So be on the lookout for that one.
Tim, the most vital question that I have to ask you right here, right now is, Are you afraid of no ghosts?
I'm afraid of no ghost. That's right.
I need to watch
And
those movies
But
again.
does busting make you feel good?
yes, it does.
Fantastic. Then you were the right man for the job. I'm excited to see. Like I played Ghostbusters back. I think it was on the Xbox 360
Yeah, it was
when
a
that came
360
out,
PS3
and
game. There was a Wii version
did not
that
like.
was, I think, similar gameplay with definitely simplified graphics.
Yeah, I did. It was not my cup of tea back in the day. So
Yeah, I
more
don't
power
think
to
I
you.
got past a few hours.
You have a fantastic time with that, and just stick it to the Marshmallow Man for me.
Well,
Well, yes, I will.
going back to Burger Time real quick, 'cause one thing I wanted to mention that the only downside of the game is because of the controls is basically up, down, left, right, and pepper. I was instinctively trying to use the D-pad, and you have to use the stick, which caused some problems trying to get down a ladder because there are diagonals that don't do
Yeah.
anything. So
They need to let
the
you be
game-
able to use the control pad.
I would if they're listening, I would suggest them to patch in D-pad support.
That'd be great. More games need to use the D-pad for the Switch.
I'll add
Just
to
because,
my,
especially now that there's one on the Switch Lite.
and I'll add to my complaint on my game on the Darksiders 2 is the camera. And I think it's a complaint a lot of us have when we're playing. So
I was playing with my
Yeah.
8-bit though.
Yeah, I love those two. Have mine right over there. And that way. Well, Tim, I want to thank you for joining us here at the very end, and also want to say thanks to Justin for joining us later on or earlier on in the show. And as we kind of wrap up here, we're going to read an email that we got this week, but we want to remind you next week is going to be episode 250, and we need your emails, your comments, your tweets, your voicemails, your questions as we celebrate 5 years of Nintendo Dads. 5 years. And I just want to throw this out here that on next week's show, we are going to make a huge announcement. We're going to make a big announcement on next week's show. You're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be fantastic. It does affect the future of Nintendo Dads.
What?
Yep. Yep. It's going to be episode 250, and we're going to do it live next week. And we want you to be a part of it. We would love, because here's the thing. Our show is built on fan interactions. It's not just about 4 or 5 guys sitting around talking about Nintendo because we're experts or anything. It's because of you, and it's because of our community that we continue to go. And you have sustained us for 5 years, which is awesome. And we're so thankful for that. And so next week is a celebration of you. It's a celebration of Nintendo Dads. It's a celebration of everything that makes this show great and our community great. But let's read this email. This is from Mecha Dragon 101. And here's what he says. I'll do my best not to make this one as long as last time. My question to you fine gentlemen today is, have you ever felt sad or depressed over a TV, movie, or game series concluding, or worst case scenario, having no chance of getting a new game at all? One of my favorite shows is supposed to conclude at the end of this week, and I keep dreading the night for when that does. And also, how do you recoup or get over said series ending, especially if you've been following it for quite a while? Hopefully all that made sense. I'm looking forward to checking out the podcast tonight. See you dads soon. Any of you guys ever dealt with withdrawal or the sadness of a show ending or not coming back at all?
There was one when I read this, I thought of a show that aired, I think it was 94 to 95, called Mantis. It was a superhero show where this guy in a wheelchair invented an exoskeleton that he could use to walk, and then he found out it also enhanced his strength and agility, and he built a mask to go with it, and he was a superhero. And I remember liking the show when it aired, but I never saw the ending until several years later when it was like reruns was playing on Sci-Fi Network. So when I was watching the series I don't think it only had the one season, but when it got to the last episode, that just brought me down based on how they ended it, and it was just like, what? I don't know if I want to actually spoil what happens or leave that open for y'all to check it out if you can find it. But that one, I think, was the one show that hit me the hardest over how they ended it.
Okay. What about you, Tim?
I have an oldie but goodie one, Quantum Leap. That show, that one ended interestingly.
I've been wanting to rewatch that, and I never got around to it.
And
I used to watch it in college, in high school.
yeah, that was one of those ones I loved watching. And it's just the way they ended it was, I mean, it was interesting. Don't get me wrong, but I guess as a fan, I would like to have seen it end differently. But that one ended abruptly for me, even though it was on for a while. And then more recently, and actually isn't a TV show, it's actually in our movies, the Marvel Universe, Iron Man. I want more of Iron Man. I want more of Robert Downey Jr. But I know, obviously he's getting older, so it's a little bit harder to keep up with that. But
Yeah.
it's one of those characters that I just wanted to see, even if he didn't have his own movies, just continue on in the universe.
Yeah, the
But you never
cameos.
know.
And
You never
and,
know.
Yeah,
Alternate universes and
well,
stuff.
that in the comics, he became the AI for another girl's suit. I forgot
Right.
what characters. So they still could do something like that, but I don't know. Another quick example is, this one isn't really sad or depressing as opposed to got me angry, is the 1989 The Flash. When it didn't get a second season, I was upset because I liked that show.
I remember that show. Yeah.
I went back and watched it again, and I'm like, oh, this show is horrible compared to what I remember. But still, at the time, I liked it because it was the only thing we had.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know, like, I was thinking of a couple of examples, and I'm not really stuck with a lot of shows that have gone through to the end, as far as a lot of the shows that I watch are still on the air. I mean, I watch The Walking Dead. That's still on the air for the time being. We watch Game of Thrones. That's obviously ended, and I did not feel anything about the ending, just like a lot of people. It was like, okay. But I will tell you there's two that affected me, and they affected me at different times in life. The first one being the morning or the time that I woke up and I realized that there was no more G1 Transformers cartoon. And then later on in life, in my teen years, realizing that Japan got way more of the G1 Transformers cartoon than we did. The story continued on for years to come, but we didn't get it.
Yeah, I remember. I think I picked up a DVD set of the Japanese Headmasters show that was like the follow-up.
I bought a VHS copy, badly recorded copy of the Headmasters off of eBay, where it had been translated into English, like it had been dubbed into English, but like the way that they translated it was terrible, and so there's this one.
I think my set was subbed.
There's one episode where, Rhino or somebody got a hold of it eventually and did it right, but and did the sub of it. But this was like dubbed over, and there's one episode where Soundwave and Blaster fight, and they kill each other. They both get wounded and die because of the fight, and so they come back. And the whole reason they did it was so that they could resell Blaster and Soundwave in different colors. And they were twin cast and Sound Blaster, and they had like double cassette depth doors, so they could store two cassettes instead of one. But in the episodes, Sound Blaster comes back, well, let me go talk about Blaster first. Blaster comes back, and his name is Billy.
What?
Yes, and
Nice.
Soundwave is rebuilt, and they call him New Soundwave.
Oh, he's
That's
a
how
Nintendo
Nint-
product.
That's how
call him
Nintendo-
New Soundwave for the rest of the series.
So that's how Nintendo learned how to name new 3DS
Yeah,
systems.
that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's
Do they
New
have a Nintendo
Soundwave.
logo on New Soundwave?
Yeah, and then there were trains. There was like a
Galaxy Edition.
combiner gestalt that of trains, of Autobot trains. They had names like Bob and Tony or something like that. It was so bizarre.
I think was
You
this
can go
was
look
this
it
a,
up. It,
was this a fan dub or
and
was this
Spike-
legit?
Oh, Spike. Spike was still in the show, and they called him Sparkle.
I think this was a fan
Yeah.
dub. I don't think it was real.
Go look it up. Go look it up. It was terrible. But anyway, that one was one, and then I'm just gonna throw this out here, and like I don't think there's anybody who there's very few people I've met that don't like the show. I was legitimately heartbroken and sad when The Office ended. I loved that show. That was my wife and I's show on the middle of the week. We sat down and watched that every episode. And I will admit to you, in the final episode when Michael Scott showed up, I shed a tear. It was just
I don't think
so
I've
well done.
ever watched that show.
Jesse, watch it before it leaves Netflix, or did it already leave Netflix?
I think it still has it till the end of the year.
You got to watch it while it's still there. If you like dry, sarcastic humor, yes, it's for you.
Sometimes,
It's
depending on if it's done right,
I'm gonna verify
done
it.
well.
Well, you'll. The thing is like at first, you know, takes a few episodes to get going. I think the first season's only 6 episodes, but by like you get wrapped up in the characters. Jim Halpert and Pam Pam Beasley is the greatest on-screen love story of our generation. I'm just gonna say it. It's fantastic. You need to go watch it. It's good. Man, Mega Dragon, this was a fantastic question. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw this out to Twitter and our folks over on Twitch and YouTube. Hit us up on Twitter and let us know what is the one series, TV show, movie, game series, whatever it is. What is the one that you felt sad or depressed when it ended and you would love to see it come back, or you know it's never going to come back, but you just have nostalgia for it? I would love to hear that from you over on our Twitter account at Nintendo Dads. Is it still on?
Yeah, it's still there.
Still on. Jesse, you still got time. You can binge it, man. I believe in you. You can do it. Guys, that is episode 249.5. And we want to say a huge thanks to our Patreon producers, Chris Mears, Dave Ernsberger, and our very own Tim Off. And because of him and because of his work over at Patreon and Discord, we've been growing the community. It's been going, and you can go over to patreon.com/Nintendo Dads and join in for $1 a month or more. And we would love to talk to you over there on our Discord. We also have a website now, nintendodads.org. Again, you can go over there, nintendodads.org. All of our YouTube videos, tweets, podcast episodes, social media, Patreon links, and a shop for Nintendo Dads merch. You can find it all at nintendodads.org. Or you can find us on social media in most places: Patreon, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube. Just type in Nintendo Dads and boom, we're there. You can email us at nintendodads@gmail.com or podcast@nintendodads.org. And you can call in and leave a voicemail for that episode 250 next week at 929-25-NDADS. That's 929-256-3237. We would love to play that on the show. And we'll read all of your emails and do all that, Facebook comments.
We already have one voicemail on deck for next week.
Yes, I'm so excited for that. Next week's going to be a huge, huge episode. I'm pumped. Big thanks to OC Remix for the music used throughout the show, and Adam Leonard and Carter Johnson for all the sweet artwork that they do for us. For me, for Tim, for Jesse, for Justin, and the rest of the Nintendo Dads team, this has been episode 249.5. See ya.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
This could be the best Nintendo dads ever.